On today's episode of Photo Kitchen, we go fishing for your backups as well as terrible puns inside of Adobe Lightroom Classic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 44 of Photo Kitchen. I am your humble host, MD Welch, and today we're talking about the very, very boring, very dry, very non-visually stimulating topic of Adobe Lightroom Classic Catalog backups, which is a mouthful, and I probably have recorded that intro now 10 times just because it is such a tongue twister. But I want to stress that while this is not going to be a really visually interesting or make my images cooler kind of video, this could very well be the type of video that saves you from having data loss or losing a lot of time if you ever have your catalog become corrupted. So let's get right into it and try to make this as exciting as possible. First thing, if you don't know where your Adobe Lightroom catalog is or how to start the backup process, let's get you in the right location to find that information. If you're on a Mac, you're going to go up to Lightroom on the top of the menu bar and you're going to come down to Catalog Settings. If you're on a Windows machine, you're still going to be in the menu bar, but you're going to hop over to Edit and you will find Catalog Settings listed below. Preferences on Windows underneath Edit, Preferences on Mac underneath the name of the application. Again, we're going to go to Catalog Settings here, and it's a good thing to go to Catalog Settings because you could find your catalog at any time inside of Adobe Lightroom Classic, as well as specify how often that you want to back up the catalog. Now, you might be thinking as this video goes on, wait a minute, I back up all of my data. I don't have to worry about backing up the catalog. I have a great backup system, local, online. I use, cloud-based storage, all this kind of stuff. I am fine. Yes, you are. But you are not backing up the catalog in case of data corruption or a corrupted database that can happen inside of Lightroom Classic. In fact, your software could be backing up a bad catalog and sticking you with that bad catalog with no sense of reprieve or redoing it easily in the future. So that's why this is a very easy and boring topic, but very critical to keeping a healthy catalog. And by the way, your sanity when working inside of Adobe Lightroom Classic. So if you don't know where your catalog is, go ahead and hit the show button and this will go ahead and open up your catalog. And we'll come back down to the backup features in just one moment. Now I'm gonna hop over and show you what the catalog actually looks like and also talk a little bit about backing up. And if you've never looked at your catalog before, that's just fine. Very few people do. Inside your catalog folder, you will find a series of files that make the catalog work. Sometimes you'll see more files than others because the catalog is currently running. So usually what you will see is the name of your catalog. In my case, I separate my paid work and then I have the year behind it. And then LRCAT, that is your actual database catalog. That's the thing we're most concerned about. Your JPEG previews are kept in a preview LR data field here, and that is usually going to be your biggest file because of the amount of images and the amount of JPEG previews that you've made and the size of those previews, minimal, 1-to-1, what have you. You also have some helper and sync data here as well as other files that have been created as the application is open. Now, what can happen is the LRCAT file can become corrupted from time to time, meaning that you will open up Lightroom Catalog and it will say there's been an error detected on the catalog. Do you wish to rebuild? Do you want to repair? Those kinds of things. And sometimes that does work, but it also doesn't work at other times. And that's why this is so important because this is a very easy thing to work around if a corruption actually happens. So again, you might be backing up your files, but you're not backing up against data corruption. Now you could actually see that I have a folder here called Catalog Backups, and I'll show you where that goes in just one moment here. But what we're going to do is we're going to set up a backup plan so we're always trying to prevent data corruption from happening inside of Lightroom Classic. So if I hop back inside of Lightroom, you'll see down at the bottom, you could specify when the catalog actually backs up. And I have it set to every time Lightroom quits or exits. I strongly recommend everybody set up Lightroom this way. That way, when you're working in Lightroom Classic and you choose to exit out of the program, you will back up the catalog at that particular time, ensuring any future data corruption, or at least backing up any future data corruption. And it does happen. It's happened to me once. It's happened to several people that I know more than once. So this is in the realm of possibility of happening. And of course, like many things on a computer, there's going to be no sign of this actually starting to become corrupted. right? So I back up every single time that Lightroom exits. Now, when you do this, and I will go ahead and close this window down, and then I'll come up and just go ahead and exit out of Lightroom or quit Lightroom. You will get a window that pops up asking you where you want to back this up and also how often you want to back it up. You get the redundant question of how often that you want to back up. Again, leave this set to every time Lightroom exits. You have your location of where the backups will actually happen. You could change this at any time. And you also have the ability to test and optimize the catalog every single time that you back up. So the good news is check both of these boxes and make sure that you're backing up every time Lightroom exits. Now, the only thing that might differ on your computer versus mine is the actual location. If I hop back over my operating system, you'll see a very interesting, almost little bit of paradoxical methodology here. I have my backups in the exact same area of the thing that I am backing up because I'm not worried about losing these files. I'm worried about data corruption. So I keep my backups in the same location. So if I double click on this and open this up, you will see that I have several subfolders inside of here. You will see that each folder here has a date timestamp on it. We start with year, we go to month, then day, and then the actual time that the catalog was backed up. And this is in a 24-hour clock. So the 0800 kind of thing going on. Now, if you expand any of these folders, you will see that there is a zip file with the name of your catalog attached to it. So each one of these folders contains the exact same zip file. It's just which one is the most current. And that comes into a very good question of how many of these do you really need to hold on to? You're not trying to prevent deleting of images or anything like that, because if you delete an image, that's a data backup kind of thing. This is really all about maintaining that healthy catalog and eliminating any sort of database corruption. So my advice to you is to maybe hold on to your last 2 catalogs, or if you work so often, maybe the last month's worth of backups, but everything else here is probably useless for me. And of course, if you have very big backup files or very big catalog files, this could also start to take a huge amount of hard drive space. So I'm just going to select all of these and just do a quick keyboard shortcut, send them to the garbage. And so I have my 2 most recent backup files here. Now, if I come back over into Lightroom, I can choose, by the way, to skip the backup. And this happens from time to time. You're in a hurry. You got to close down the laptop. You got to board a plane, whatever that it is. Totally understandable that you are going to probably skip every now and then, but don't skip too often. Again, there's no indication of when the catalog is going to be corrupted and when you're going to have to rely on this backup system. You'll just have to remember to give yourself a note every now and then to do a little bit of cleaning out of that backup folder to make sure you don't have a ton of folders occupying way too much space on your hard drive. So this is a very simple way to solve potentially a huge problem that could happen to you in the future. And by the way, if you have a massive amount of images in your catalog, this is where corruption could actually happen more often than not. So if you are one of those individuals with 70, 80,000, 120,000 images, you really want to make sure that you're backing up your catalog. But it's so nice and simple. We should all be backing up our catalog on a regular basis. Makes working in this program nice. It makes it enjoyable. It allows us to like the process. And by the way, speaking of like, if you haven't hit the like button already, please do so for this video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and share this information with your fellow photography friends who need more information about photography and post-production. So until next time, this is MD Welch wishing you all the best from Photo Kitchen.